Well, hello. We are over here at the main farm. This is where my mom lives. And last year, if you were following my stories, I put in a new bed and I hadn't done much with it since. I planted about 400 bulbs in it. This spring, you can see that they did wonderful. I had tulips, I had daffodils. Well, now it's getting into summer and guess what? They look gross. Now, the point of this bed was always gonna be a mixture of perennials with maybe a couple things to give it structure. And a lot of you have been asking me, how do you go about perennials? Because guess what, if you're like me, perennials can be chaotic. They can be scary because they get bigger, they naturalize, how do you know where to plant them? How do you plan ahead? I got you covered. So I'm in a Zone 5B garden in Iowa, and obviously you have to look for plants that work in your zone. So if you're not used to that, one, of course you can search for it, but you know what's even better? Going to your locally owned garden center and checking it out, because guess what? Usually the people that work there love to garden, know what's happening, know what to plant, and can help you. So I'm gonna lead you through what I've planted here and what I'm kind of excited about and some of the perennials that I love. So to start off and give this bed just a little bit of structure, I did put in some spaced out evenly firelight hydrangeas. So I chose firelight because they have a beautiful they come out white, but then they turn this nice kind of reddish color. So they eventually are gonna get about 5 to 6 foot tall, not quite that wide, but what's gonna be nice about that is they're gonna give an overall beautiful just structure and color to it. The backdrop is some Turkey Rhubarb. They're always gonna be green. It's like a windbreak. So it's kind of just like this nice wall. So how do I plan what I'm putting in a bed? So I get together some of my favorite perennials and I start looking at sizing, and I think of what's gonna go in front of the bed, what's gonna go in the center of the bed, and what's gonna go in the back. Because you can kind of break a bed usually into, 3 parts, front, center, and back. This one is roughly 6 foot deep, which is pretty deep, but I wanted it to have some nice gracious space because it's in a big backyard and I want it to be seen. So what I'm doing in front, obviously these bulbs, I'm hoping that in years to come, they come up every year. So I have to always give them the space. And that's why I made sure to keep on, even though they look bad, all their dead growth so I can know the space they took up. So in front, I'm choosing blue ice Ansonia. I love Ansonia for a couple reasons. The blue ice variety stays slightly smaller, but it also does not flop over. Ansonia is a native plant, which I love. But what's great about it is not only does it bloom throughout the summer, these beautiful bluish purple blooms, but it gets amazing fall color on it. It turns a beautiful yellow color. So not only are you getting green, are you getting the blooms. In fall, you're getting, that's right, you're getting some beautiful color too. And then that color kind of stays on throughout the winter. So those are going in front and I've spaced them in between all my sections of bulbs. So I'm gonna plant those and then we'll talk about the next one. So we're already starting to get dry here, which is why I want to get this stuff in the ground and get mulch on it so it starts retaining moisture better. So as we talk about sizing, you have to think of the overall height and width. So in the back of all this area, I'm putting some really cool Culver's root. It's Fascination Culver's root. And again, it's a native, it's in the Veronica family. So it gets really cool flowers on it that are kind of like long pinnacles and they have a purplish color. So we're playing with kind of different variations of color. We have the blue ice Ansonia, which have that purplish blue color. Then this Culver's root will too. And just like anything I ever plant, I slightly break up that root ball to get it in the ground. What that helps, it just helps those roots want to start kind of stimulating new growth and grow out laterally. As you get dry, it wouldn't be a bad idea to water your bed a few days before, let it dry out slightly, just so you can work the dirt easier and break it up, because you don't want big clods when you're working. So I laid all of my plants out kind of by size. Now, if that scares you, let's go over here and I'll show you. If you're not used to kind of visually seeing what size something is, you can actually paint, just like with some spray paint, a circle in the perimeter of what the full size someday is gonna be. So this is Turkey Rhubarb, ornamental rhubarb. It's not one you eat, but if you follow my stories, I'm always talking about how I love it. When it's small like this, you think, that's nothing great. It grows. So it's gonna get really large. Its actual footprint on the ground will be about this circle, but then up above, it will even get bigger. So you can choose and make your circle whatever size you want. I want these plants to flow into each other eventually. I like to crowd a bed eventually so weeds don't grow. So it shades out the dirt underneath and the mulch and keeps it more wet. So in the middle of the bed, In the front, I have the Ansonia. In the middle, now I have this Turkey Rhubarb. It will get the jagged leaves, bronzy underneath, beautiful green on top. It's really cool. But if you need to, visually make a circle around each thing so you know the sizing and know where you can put it. So the Turkey Rhubarb is going here in the center. And then for some more color and everything back behind, way in the back, I'm putting some Solomon seal. This is a variegated Solomon seal. I'm choosing this because one, it likes some shade, which here in the back, it's gonna get more shade, but it's also going to naturalize, meaning it's gonna keep getting bigger and kind of fill in all back behind. And you'll just get these waves of all this texture. In the spring, they bloom. So I'm choosing some natives. Usually natives have a tendency to want to naturalize more and fill in, which can be good. You just have to plan for them. The last plant I'm doing, which is kind of going in between in the back because it gets about 3 to 4 foot high, is one of my favorites. It's Sun King Aurelia. Again in the pot, nothing special. But this again gets 3 to 4 foot high and it gets bright chartreusey green foliage on it. The flowers, you don't really notice them. But the foliage, it stands out, it's bright, it's sharp. It can take some part sun, it can take mostly shade, and it does so well. Once it's established, it can actually be slightly drought tolerant too, which goes for a lot of these things once established. So as you can see, all the perennials I chose are small, like quart size or smaller. That means this was $8.99. All the others were like $9.99, $8.99. That's why you sometimes choose smaller perennials like this. In a couple years, even in a year, it's gonna be so much bigger. It's gonna fill in. It's great bang for your buck. So I'm gonna plant more of these things. Then we're gonna talk about mulch. It's gonna look finished and it's gonna be exciting. It's always good to get another project done. So all the spent bulbs, these are tulip greens that have now been turned brown. Guess what? These usually I would throw in my compost pile. Well, since I'm only doing mulch, and I only ever use mulch, I don't like a rocked bed, this is great to put underneath the mulch because the point of a hardwood mulch is that over time, it can actually compost into the soil. It can add nutrients back to the soil. So I do about 3 inches so I get good moisture retention, good weed suppression, but then also let it work back into the soil. So underneath all that mulch is gonna be some great compost with all those greens. So I just dumped the mulch on top, I chopped them off, I put all that mulch on, and now I make sure to kind of spread the mulch to, I'm doing about 3 inches because I want the most retention and weed suppression I can get here because it can get dry right now. And look how beautiful it instantly is looking. It looks so much more full. It looks clean. It looks prettier. That's what mulch does. Just a quick little platform here on mulch. Instead of just dumping on endless amounts of mulch every year, the idea of mulch, like I said, is so it breaks down over time. Well, most likely in 1 year, it is not gonna break down that much. So instead of just dumping on tons more mulch, which eventually can get matted together, it can create mildew and moisture, just rake it. Take a hard rake, rake all your mulch beds. It makes it look fresh. It helps it break down better. And then you're not just piling mulch on. Mulch can be good, but it can also be bad if you do too much. So now the thing is to water them well. Water them all throughout the summer. So you can plant spring, summer, fall, but if you plant in the summer like this, you are going to have to make sure to water. Check them. If you're not used to checking them, buy a cheap moisture meter. They're like $6. Stick it in a couple places and see if it reads dry, water. If it reads wet, don't water because you can't overwater. So that's the name of the game. Think of your beds in front, center, and back, and plant accordingly. Lower things in front, medium things in the center, taller things in back, or things that fill in for foliage, like I'm doing, and you will have, in a few years, a really full, a really beautiful perennial bed that is full on textures, that will have moments of chaos, but also look really uniform and put together. And that's the point. You have this chaos within defined lines, and that repeating sensation all throughout the bed is what creates that beauty. It's so pretty. So as always, what do I hope you do? I hope you share these videos around because yeah, sharing is caring. It helps me a lot, but it also helps so many people see that this is doable. If I can do it, you can do it, which means the world can do it. And guess what? We will be a happier, greener, healthier place if we get outside and do this. Small scale or large scale. Check my website, wiseguide.com, for tips, for tricks, for videos, for recipes. It's all on there. And until then, I'm gonna keep working because there's always something to do.